Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here. I just wanted to talk a little bit about what the Lieutenant Governor is going to be doing over the next couple months and give him a chance to explain what he's going to be doing. But basically what we want to do here in Pennsylvania is, as I've said a number of times before, keep our eyes open as to what's changing in the environment when it comes to recreational marijuana. We all know that the states surrounding us, New York, New Jersey, the governors there have made strong statements as to what they think ought to happen. And I think here in Pennsylvania, we need to keep our eyes open constantly as to what's happening there and all around the rest of the country. So here in Pennsylvania, the Lieutenant Governor has agreed to go on a 67-county listening tour to find out what the people in Pennsylvania, all around Pennsylvania, what they think. There are a lot of deeply held views on this. Senator Corman, for example, has made his opinion known. Auditor General DePasquale has made his opinions known. So there's no lack of people who have ideas as to what ought to happen. We just need to listen to them. And what we don't want to do is make the same mistake we made with the opioid crisis, and that is just sink our heads into the sand and ignore what's going on out there until it's too late. And so we want to make sure that we're doing the responsible thing here and keeping our eyes open, understanding what's going on, and that's what the Lieutenant Governor is going to do. So it's my great privilege to turn this over to the Lieutenant Governor to talk a little more about his listening tour around Pennsylvania. John.
Thank you, Governor.
Sure, thank you.
As the Governor pointed out, it is my distinct honor to serve in this capacity, and I want to emphasize this is a listening tour, and we are going to every county. We don't have a arrived at conclusion. We are going out to engage with as many Pennsylvanians as we can to hear what they have to say about this very important topic. And we hope to get that wrapped up in the next several months. And when we mean every county, we mean every county. And we're not just going to where support is really, really high, or we're going to places that all across Pennsylvania to fully understand where each and every constituent that has an opinion is able to weigh in on that. And we will also have a mechanism where voters can log their issues and their ideas and their opinions online as well too.
So now we'll take questions. Any questions for either of us? Yeah.
Governor, in December, you made your Twitter comment to announce that, okay, now you've moved the ball a little bit further than where you were on the campaign trail. But you said that this wasn't going to be one of your first priorities of this term. But in a way, this sort of sounds like this is making it.
Well, first of all, I think both of us want to make clear that was your interpretation that I was, changing my position. I really wasn't. The news here is that Pennsylvania has once again decided to do the responsible thing. We are keeping our eyes and ears open. We're trying to understand what's happening out there. We're not going to make the same mistakes that our predecessors made when it came to the opioid epidemic, where we wait until people are dying in the thousands before we do something. We're actually trying to figure out what is going on out there. What should we know? What can we learn? And so this is a listening tour that the Lieutenant Governor is going to go on, and we are not prejudging or foreclosing on any answers that we might hear. As he said, we're going to go to places where there will be people who support recreational marijuana. We'll go to places where people really oppose legalizing it, and we want to hear every answer. So the point that we're both trying to make is we are not closing our eyes. We're not closing our ears. We're opening them, and we really want to know the answers to questions, and we don't have the answers preordained in this process. John, you want to add anything?
I see it as another strong example of Governor Wolf's leadership, understanding that Pennsylvania is a diverse state that has different opinions on things. And what better mechanism in order to determine where we are at as a Commonwealth than to go to every single county and figure out where people are at. And again, I think that's a testament to Governor Wolf and his openness to really getting to the truth and getting to an answer of where we are as a Commonwealth.
Can you talk a little bit about the tour as to who you would like to take part in these and perhaps the first stops?
Yeah. at the risk of sounding oversimplistic, it really is a listening tour, and it's going. You have enormously large jurisdictions like Philadelphia or Pittsburgh in my part of this state, or you have Cameron County with 5,500 people, and our campaign on the campaign trail, we went to every county, so it's something we've already done, and every county, every voter, every voice, and that's what we're going to do here. And you're going to have some events. I would imagine we'll have several hundred people coming. And we might have a small community center in one of the smaller, more rural counties, and we might get a couple dozen people. But their views are every bit as important as anyone else's views. And we want to make sure everybody feels heard and invested in this process.
Governor, is there anything that has happened in particular that has led you to actually spend time on this subject to do something on recreational marijuana?
Yeah, as I said earlier, back in December, the governors of both New Jersey and New York have actually said they're going to be promoting this. There are other states that have legalized it in the last couple months. So, those are changes. And again, we could choose to ignore what's going on in the world and just pretend that nothing has happened, nothing has changed, or we can actually open our eyes and ears and say, let's go out and ask, let's find out. And that's all we're trying to do. I think that is the responsible thing to do. We're doing what I think the people of Pennsylvania want this government to do, and that is listen.
There was strong pushback from Republicans when you first mentioned this in December. Have you had any conversations with them?
I'm not aware of the pushback to the listening. I think there's pushback. They're deeply held, as I said, deeply held views on whether this legalization is appropriate. This is a democracy. People are encouraged to have different ideas on what we ought to do, and I think that's great, and that's what we're trying to find out. What are those ideas? What is the view in this year, 2019? Not what was the view back in 1962. What's the view right now in Pennsylvania as to what we ought to be doing here, and that's what we want to find out. We're listening.
Is there any sort of time frame as far as when this starts and how long it goes on for? Or?
You want to take that?
Well, I mean, it's going to start very shortly, and we hope to have it concluded within the first 3 months, where we're going to be going to community after community after community. And now, of course, you have an enormously large jurisdiction like Philadelphia. We'll have several there, but in the smaller counties, it might only amount to one. But the governor and I are both committed to going to each and every county and speaking to every corner of Pennsylvania. Whether my views are subordinate to the governor's, and I think we are both subordinate to what the voters think in Pennsylvania. And that's what this listening tour is about, is finding out where Pennsylvanians are overall on this very important matter.
Can you talk real quick about how important it is for you that the governor seems to be giving you letting you take the reins on this listening tour here?
I can tell you why it's important to me. It's important to me because this is a really intelligent person who cares deeply about what happens in Pennsylvania, and I really think that he's going to do a very good job listening to what our constituents, the people we're serving, what they have to say.
And I love this guy. What can I say? So I see our role as a partnership, and I joke, it's like if the governor asked me to go out and direct traffic, I would do that. I'm here to serve in a way that best helps the Commonwealth. And it's an important topic. And as the governor pointed out, you have other states that are moving in a certain direction, and it would be irresponsible on our part if we didn't take a look at it. And that's what this listening tour is about. And the fact that we have an outstanding working relationship means a great deal. And I'm honored to get out there and visit every corner of this state again to hear where people are on this.
The administration has also done listening tours with families who have lost people to the opioid epidemic. Is there sort of a mixed message in the approach to opioids versus marijuana? And if so, how do you reconcile that? No,
I don't think I think I've done like 60 or 70 myself listening tours. Yes, there are a lot of people who've gone around and had conversations. And that's how I learned, and I think that's how a lot of people in this building learned about what we might do to address the opioid epidemic. What we're trying to avoid is a repeat of the mistakes that were made that that in dealing with the opioid epidemic, and I think that there's nothing contradictory about this. We are actually trying to figure out this issue, where the people of Pennsylvania are. What is it we can learn from them in terms of what we ought to be doing here?
And I'd like to interject, is that because of his approach in getting out and listening to Pennsylvanians, and the response that his administration crafted was recently cited by the American Medical Association as a national model for confronting the opioid issue that we have in this country. So I think it's already been a tried and true process, and we are applying it. And I'm honored to be one carrying it out, is hearing where people are at in the Commonwealth.
Is it your intention to let this listening tour supersede any responsibility of presiding over the Senate, or just how do you want to?
No, I'm going to honor every duty that I have, and so I don't foresee that. I don't foresee that being an issue.
And you have expressed support for legalizing.
I have, and my personal views are no secret, but my personal views aren't. They're not important, because this is really about this is a listening tour, and we really want to hear what people have to say. So this isn't like hey, this is like, tell me what you believe. And because as the governor pointed out, adults can have different opinions on this, and we want to have a conversation. We want to have a dialogue with a broad spectrum of the views across the Commonwealth.
And I think the reality is, in this building, there's a whole range of views on this. So I don't think anybody could pretend to go out and speak, even for the people in this building. We're out to listen. We're out to find what people of Pennsylvania want. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.